I'm working on my 1912 Waverly Custom. Mainly got the frame done, the front end on it, got the engine all in, the transmission set in, my seat mounted. What I got to work on now is making an oil tank and a gas tank. These twin cylinder engines are oil and air cooled, so they have to have an oil tank separate outside of the engine. My plan is to make the oil tank out of copper and to make the gas tank out of aluminum. It's pretty simple procedure. I just want to cut straight down these lines. So there's my oil tank. This is going to be the outside piece, and this will be the inside of the tank. And what I'll do is when I bend the metal, I'll follow these dotted lines here that I'm making. Ideally, I would bend this without heat, because if I put heat into it, it's going to get a hot spot naturally. It's going to be hotter in some spots than in others, and it's going to want to bend more freely at that spot. If I do it cold, it'll give me a nice, smooth, uniform bend. So you see I only have a little bit of an arch to it right now. That's what it takes to start it and get it right. I'm getting a general idea. I'm going to take it back over to the bike and see how it fits. This piece is going to look real nice inside this frame. What I've done is I got my copper bent over. I got it clamped together. It's fighting me real hard. It's very stiff. So I'm creating a lap joint here. I got it clamped together with some clamps, and I'm going to put a dolly up underneath the inside of it and try and hammer down onto that dolly. Let me try and solder this again. I got a bond there, but I need to get that rod doesn't have any flux on it. I'm going to try and see if I can find some flux here to get it to flow a little better. So I got my oil tank started to get silver soldered together here. Got a little wavy from the heat. So what I'm going to do is use this big piece of pipe as a dolly or a buck to straighten the soldered edge out on. What I'm doing now is just using this vise clamp and a couple pieces of aluminum to collapse this tank while it's soft. I got my copper oil tank, basic shape of it done. I made the nose cap for it, which is what I really need to be able to make the fuel tank, because they're going to butt right up next to each other. I got this cap sitting here very delicately. It could fall at any second. Just the heat from the torch can make it fall. It may happen. I got it fluxed out, and I'm going to try and silver solder it. So I need to make some threaded mounts to mount the oil tank to the frame. I want to use the threaded bung, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 1/4 inch 20 nuts, and I'll take these 1/4 20 nuts and put them on this bolt. What I'm going to do here is make a little mount for the bottom. I'm going to fold it over in the shape of an L and solder it to here, and have these two mounts mount up to the frame and then support the weight of the tank. So kind of tricky to make, pero se puede. I took the two mounts that I made in the lathe and have them set. Now I have my copper mount that I bent right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mark where it's going to run, because I need to clean all this real good and put some flux on it. And then once I get it fluxed and back mounted up there, I'm going to silver solder that mount to the tank. What I've done is I got the bottom mount silver soldered to the copper oil tank, and now I'm just shimming, knocking it down with a wedge and shimming it to get my top mount made so that it stays in one spot, because my fuel tank's going to look like a continuation of the copper oil tank, but it's going to be made out of aluminum. So I got to get this tank in place and have it in one position so that once the fuel tank moves forward from it, it's not all over the place. Yeah, I've done really good so far this morning getting this oil tank mounted up in here. It's real hot, but it's real solid. I'm able to move it and knock the whole bike around. So I'm able now to move forward with the fuel tank, which is what I really need to get done today.